Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I want to give my personal experience on what the process is like and how it is purchasing designer bags off of eBay. I want to say in total, actually I can't really give a total because I've purchased so many on eBay. I know currently in my collection I have 7 bags that I've purchased off of eBay, but I've bought and sold bags throughout the years. But I have a little experience when it comes to buying designer bags off of eBay, so I wanted to share that experience and what that is like with you guys today. And so out of those 7 bags, I have total here 4. And only reason why I've done that is because these bags were purchased because I didn't want to go in store and pay that sticker price. The other bags that I purchased off of eBay that's still in my collection, when I purchased them, they were not in store. So I feel like these bags will be more accurate to this purpose of this video. So let's get right into it. The first bag, as you can see, I have the LV Neverfull MM size in the Damier Ebene. And currently, this bag is being sold on their website, LV website, for $2,170, unless something has changed. And I purchased this bag for $1,306. And I want to say that was not the listing price. I want to say maybe I was able to negotiate with the seller on eBay, and I think she might have took off $100, maybe $150, but let's just say the price was $1,306, and that was in 2023 when I made this purchase. So currently, like I said, this bag is going for $2,170, and I want to say they've had a couple price increases, LV has. So let's just, say, I don't know, $2,000, whatever, maybe at that time it was being sold. But if we're going off of today's price, that was at $864. But I'll knock off maybe $100 because, like I said, I bought it in 23. So I saved, I'm just going to say, let's say $700, give or take, because of the price increases. And to me, that is a nice savings, at least for me. And so again, that's why I like to get a lot of my designer bags off of eBay. I don't knock the consignment stores and the resale stores like Fashion File, because I've also purchased from them. But what I have noticed is that you have more of a motivated seller on eBay, whereas someone like Fashion File or consignment, it's more of like a business. So they have their fee in that price, whereas with eBay, I feel like that seller, sometimes they're pretty motivated to sell that bag, so you may be able to talk them down, and that's the experience that I've noticed. So that is all for the LV Neverfull. My next bag is, let's see, I don't know why I have it so far on the table, is my LV Speedy 25 in the Damier Ebene. And I bought this bag back in 2022, and I purchased it for $1,326. And currently this bag is being sold for $1,940. So if we're going off of today's price, that's a $614 savings that I had. But let's just say I'll knock $100 off of it, because like I said, that was in 2022, and we know LV has had some price increases. So let's just say maybe I saved $500, even $400. To me, again, that is a nice savings. Just again proves that you can save when you shop off of eBay. And as you can see, the bag is in pretty good condition. I didn't have any issues with the seller and purchasing this bag. And that goes to say as well, with one reason why I'm I feel so comfortable in purchasing designer bags off of eBay is because they have the authentication system, meaning that, and I have a story I would like to tell you guys briefly later on, but I like that system, that eBay, because they didn't always have that, so it made shopping for luxury items on eBay a little dicey. But now with that whole process, it's easy, I feel like, to purchase, because if you have a situation where somebody may list something just to sell it and it's not what it is, before you even get that bag, eBay is going to get their hands on it and say, hey, you know, based off of the description that the seller listed, this bag does not look that way. Here are the pictures and what we're finding. Do you still want the bag? And so I like that, having that middleman, because it is a protection for you and the seller. Because I've heard horror stories for sellers as well. So again, that's what makes me so comfortable in buying off of eBay. So my next bag that I have is the LV Pochette Métis. This is in the Empreinte leather, and this is in the color Turtle Dove. So currently this bag is being sold for $3,000, and I know this bag was not $3,000 in 2024. I want to say maybe it was 25. No, because the canvas is always cheaper than the Empreinte leather. Maybe 28, somewhere around that. But if we're going off of today's price, again, like I said, I purchased this bag for $2,160. However, the listed price the seller was selling the bag for was $2,500. And I was able to wiggle and talk with her until we got the price down basically to $2,100. And that $60 come from like taxes and everything. So if we're comparing what I paid to today's price, that's $840. But let's just say, let's knock off $100. Because again, LV has had a bunch of price increases. Let's say that was a $740 savings. Even if we said it was a $650 $40 savings, that is still a lot of money to be saving. I feel like with me, every dollar counts. So again, it just proves my point as to why I feel like you can get a good savings off of eBay. And again, that authentication process is kind of like a protection for you. And my story that I wanted to share with you guys is about this bag. This is the Gucci Soho Disco bag. And I didn't include this, again, because when I purchased this bag, this bag was not in the stores at that time. I had a list of bags on my wish list that I wanted to get that was no longer being sold, and this was one of them. So that's why I didn't put this in here. But story behind this bag is that when it was listed as 100% authentic, and the bag was in great shape. So I went ahead and purchased it. It went through the eBay authentication process. And I received a message, like it sat there for about a day or two at eBay's authentication place. And then they sent me a message 2 days later, and they said, hey, basically saying, hey, the bag you purchased was not authentic. They didn't really go into details as to what they found that made them come to that conclusion. So basically they said, we are refunding your money. Hey, fine with me, as long as I'm getting my money back. So within, I want to say 2 days, I got my money back. So that bag had not even made it to me yet. Once I purchased it, it went to eBay, the authentication place, and they looked at it before I even got my hands on it and said, hey, this bag is not real. So we're just going to refund you and send this bag back to the seller. So then maybe about a day or two, the seller reached out to me and they said, I just want to apologize because this bag, it was a gift to me and I didn't realize it wasn't real. And that could have been a true story. Either way, I just appreciate them doing that because it's not a guarantee that you know, someone may reach out to you and take that extra step to apologize. So, you know, I appreciate that. So after that, I went back on my hunt because I wanted the Gucci Soho Disco bag. So long story short, I found another bag, and excuse me, and that person had the bag listed at like $1,060. And as you can see, this bag is in very good shape. As a matter of fact, when I got the bag, it smelled new in the inside. So I don't even know, I don't know the history of it, but I mean, it really comes off as new. This is something that the seller sent me, just something to keep its shape. But this is the my Samorga organizer that I have in this bag. But as you can see, look at that interior. This bag, like I said, great shape, great shape. So anyway, same process, because I'm not going to purchase a bag off of eBay or even look at a bag that's listed on eBay if it does not have that blue circle that says, you know, eBay authentication. I'm not even gonna look at the bag. So I purchased this bag for $1,060. It went to eBay. They looked over the bag, saw that the description of the bag actually matched what the bag looked like, and so they sent it to me. And that was the end of that. So again, unless, you know, I mean, you can find some new bags off of eBay that people never wore as well, but you know, unless you just don't feel like the hassle with eBay, or you still just don't trust it because maybe you had past experiences that didn't go too well, I can understand that. I totally can. But I can say in my history of purchasing and selling bags off of eBay, I haven't ran into any situations as of yet. Not to say that won't happen, but so far, I feel comfortable in purchasing or even selling through eBay authentication, because that having that middle person, it really protects you, even from a seller's point of view, because you can have somebody where you're selling a bag, and let's say you don't go through that process. They get the bag and they say, hey, something is missing off the bag, and you know that that bag was in top notch, nothing was missing. Well, you have to hold your breath and hope that this person send not only the bag back in the right condition, but also your actual bag. So that middle person, we're sending that item going through the eBay authentication process, it protects the seller, because once that purchaser gets that bag, it goes to eBay, they check everything out, and then it goes to the buyer. And so then that buyer cannot come back and say, well, hey, something is missing, because eBay noticed that everything was on the bag. So again, I really like the eBay authentication process. It gives me a little bit more comfort when it comes to purchasing designer bags off of their website. But if I run into any situations or have any bad experiences, I will definitely get back on here and share that with you guys. But basically, this whole purpose of this story is to let you know that there are ways, definitely ways you can save, and you can save big, especially now with some people maybe not buying designer bags as much as maybe they were doing due to the economy or whatever. You can really find some good deals, like I said, off of eBay. So I wanted to come on here and share this tidbit with you guys and my experience, and I hope you enjoyed. If you have any questions or anything, please feel free to leave the comment down below, and I appreciate you guys listening to me. Take care. Bye-bye.